30,000 UN peacekeeping forces are currently being deployed to the desert, where a time portal has transported 7 million Crusaders from the Crusader Army forward to come and try to take over the modern world. The medieval units believe there is too much heresy going on, and they must go and conquer. Deus Vult! And sadly, they do have to conquer through a multitude of serious bridge defenses that will cause a great deal of damage to their military. The modern United Nations have set up choke points at each of these bridges, ready to spray fire at the oncoming enemies. On top of that, they also have a number of vehicles available to them, including missile systems, M1A2 Abrams, and CIWS anti-air flak guns. This will be an all-out war as the United Nations is completely surrounded by the Crusader Army. 7 million versus 30,000. Who will win? Like and subscribe! Alright boyos, let's go ahead and press start right here, starting us off in slow motion so we can really see the bridge defense in action at the very start here. We're starting off with a wave of French men-at-arms coming forward this way. We've also got Englishmen on the battlefield. We have Templar Knights. I believe we also have Hospitaller Knights on the battlefield, as well as General Medieval Footmen and Knights, and some Archers and Catapults. So we're bringing out a ton of medieval units onto this battlefield. Over here, we do have our UN peacekeepers using their batons to smack down a lot of these French knights. While they do get that cover fire from the boys behind them, these guys are wielding some sort of AK? Not entirely sure what type of AK that is. Maybe an AK-74U? I don't know. If you guys know, let me know in the comment section below. Either way, let's go normal speed here, and we can see the burst fire coming in from the UN units and just spraying down that front line of medieval soldiers. However, they are getting rather close here to the bridge already. We need a good stopping point. There's some of it. We've got missile systems firing out from back here. We've also got CIWSs by this little gate wall over this way. Now, this gate wall is very unique because these guys have grenade launchers, so they're actually able to fire standard bullets as well as their grenade launchers, I believe, at the enemy. So they'll do pretty well here. You can see all of the grenade launcher shots impacting the oncoming medieval units. Let's see who they're dealing with over here. It looks like a bunch of English spearmen are coming forward on this side, and they of course have the CIWSs as well. So these puppies are all aboard the wall here, spraying and praying down thousands of bullets all at once. What's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you about Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an amazing place where you can get some fire deals on all sorts of video games. Seriously, it's like 60 to 95% off, as you can see here. These are all of the Star Wars titles they have. They literally have every Star Wars title. You can also get XCOM here, Men of War Assault Squad 2. All of the games I play on the channel you can buy here for extremely cheap prices. If you use my affiliate link in the description, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys for listening to this sponsorship, and thank you to Instant Gaming for continuing to sponsor the channel. Then to the right of them over this way, we of course have additional UN peacekeeping forces. These guys have M4s with silencers and ACOG sights on them, so kind of a sniper-esque unit, and they are taking on more French halberdsmen, as well as spearmen of the English, and some Templar Knights coming forward over this way. I believe the catapults are further back here, and these things will be very devastating once they end up coming all the way forward. Yeah, they're back this way. We could see a bunch of them over here coming forward. Those will definitely pack a meaty punch, and then the archers, I believe, are in this corner over here, and when they come forward, they'll also be spamming out some arrow fire against the defenders and probably causing quite a bit of damage there too. So once the range units come into play, this hard defense that we're seeing right now will likely start to lack, and we will see more and more of these medieval soldiers actually coming forward. We've got more UN soldiers down here with M4s firing away. They've got M1A2 Abrams right in front of them. just pumping some HE shots into these globs of oncoming Crusader units. We've also got the river coming in, so what's unique about this map, and we've played it before, is the water comes in slowly but surely and actually rises during the battle usually, so these UN troopers that are down in the gully here are probably going to get washed away. That's not great, but also might wash away any Crusaders that are coming through. I'm actually kind of surprised some of these baton units are still alive up here. They were getting hard charged earlier, and they're still getting hard charged, but I kind of thought they'd get wiped out almost instantly. That backup fire from behind, as well as those missile systems, is really helping them out. These bridges and alleyways over here are holding perfectly fine. There is no problemo over that way. The wall over here is doing well too. I am seeing a few of the Crusader units getting awfully close over this way, and it looks like they have killed actually a number of the UN peacekeepers over this way, so that's a bit more of a problem. Currently, we have 6.1 million Crusader units left alive, so about 900,000 have died. Now, a lot of that 900,000 could have easily died from the water here. Actually, you can see they did. A bunch of them are dead in the water from it rushing on down here, and if it rises again, more will die. You can see just how many got washed away initially. So, probably a lot of that initial 900,000 dead from the environment and things like that. Meanwhile, we have 28,791 remaining UN forces, meaning about, 1,300 of them have died so far on the battlefield, so really not a bad ratio for these UN soldiers. However, as the battle continues going on, I think we're going to start seeing more and more of them dying, especially once those catapults reach the front lines here, and here are a few of them getting nice and close. I know there are 100,000 catapults on the battlefield, and there they are, throwing out their rocks against these UN peacekeepers. The guys behind the buildings are fine, because the rocks just hit the buildings. Look at that! And I think a lot of the guys that were on top of the buildings got thrown down behind the buildings, so it's not even that big of a problem. The UN peacekeepers, I believe, have decent health. 1,900 health for these grenade launcher troopers, so it would take, 2 or 3, I believe, catapult shots to actually kill them, and a whole lot of arrows to kill them as well. So these guys are going to be able to be on the battlefield for quite some time without dying even from these projectiles, which is good. And then even if they lose the wall itself, these guys back here will help, and these guys on the bridges will also assist. It does look like our missile systems are taking damage somehow. Maybe that is from arrows, although I don't see any arrows coming in. I don't really know how they're taking damage, to be completely honest, but not a very good thing at the very least. They need to hold out a long time, because look at that. Each shot is killing like 100 medieval units all at once. They need to stay alive, boys. Alright, more water is coming through here. It is rising a little bit, so these guys might get swept away, which sucks, but I guess it's not the end of the world. They are the only melee unit that the UN currently has. We do have some catapult shots striking up on top of the walls and knocking a lot of these guys down. It is absolute chaos and pandemonium up here, but they're still managing to keep these military units at bay. The problem with these guys is that they have to come through various bridge choke points here. So there's going to be some serious lagging behind, and then they also have to navigate all of these different houses and buildings and things like that. So them actually coming forward is going to take a lot longer, which means that these fellas defending this area will have more time to set up their defenses and actually hold out against them. So that's going to be helpful. Obviously, we've got our bridge choke points over here too, and our big one over here. Why don't we go ahead and watch our UN melee units fending off hordes of Crusader Knights close up here for our first time lapse before all of these guys end up dying. We're currently at 28,200 remaining UN soldiers and 5.9 million remaining Crusader Knights. If you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you didn't know it, my Army Men book, Army Men Blight of the Empire, is now officially available on Amazon.com. It released on December 1st. Would love it if you guys went, checked it out, left a review if you do end up enjoying it. It's really appreciated. Either way, let's get into this first time lapse. Okay, the body pile grew so much that the camera ended up at the feet of the UN troopers. That is crazy. They're still holding here, though. That's really nice. That's going to buy a lot of time for our ranged units. Back here is getting more and more destroyed as those catapult shots do find their marks more and more and kill more of these UN soldiers, so that's not very good. We do have 27,400 left alive, so in that short little 10-minute-ish time lapse, looks like about another 1,000 of them died, but 5.6 million Crusader Knights still remain, so that's like, what, 300,000, I believe, have died in that 10 minutes as well, so, you know, they're still doing quite well killing the Crusaders. They're just also taking some damage too. It looks like a few catapults did get some shots over here as their ranks are now all disturbed from them. That or archers or something like that hit them pretty hard and managed to do some damage to them. So these lines over here are not impenetrable. Impregnable? That's for walls, right? For sieges? I don't know. Treading dangerous grounds here with these words. But we've got this bridge still holding as well, and these guys haven't taken any damage because there's no catapults over here, baby. Also, the M1A2 Abrams still doing quite well. It looks like a few troops almost made it to him, but got shot down before they could do anything. Lovely. Why don't we go ahead and watch the top of this fort here firing downward at the oncoming enemies as they try to get onto the bridge. We're just about at 5 million remaining Crusaders now. So they've lost a lot of troopers in about a half an hour. 2 million soldiers, which is pretty astounding. We're down to 26,000 remaining UN soldiers, so they've lost about 4,000 troopers. However, the more UN troopers that die, the worse they're going to perform overall, whereas the medieval troopers will continue to have a constant onslaught the whole time. So each UN trooper is going to contribute a lot more, so they need to stay alive for a lot longer. So 4,000 is really nothing to scoff at. We still have probably tens of thousands of catapults coming forward at this point, and they are still yucking those rocks right up against the wall here. Again, these guys are pretty well defended within this little alcove, so they're not going to take too many losses from those, but that coupled with medieval soldiers coming forward is a lot for them to take on. They're going to lose a lot of troopers in the process, so that's no good. The walls themselves are mostly clear. There's a couple holdouts of troopers here and there, but yeah, they've been shot up pretty bad by those catapults and thrown to the ground. Actually, a lot of them got tossed way back here now and are alive back here, so that's good. Over this way, it looks like a few UN troopers have died over here. Nothing too crazy. These guys are nice and far away from their enemies with a nice long-ranged weapon with them, so they're going to be able to continue to get a lot of kills that way. And then same with down here where not even catapults are coming up, so these guys are still fully intact. Down here, it looks like a few catapult shots have somehow hit these guys, maybe overshooting the walls on the other side, because there's no catapults over here. There is just footmen and Frenchmen coming forward. Still haven't really seen any archers. Oh, they're all up here. There's a ton of them up here. And these ones are actually firing down. Nice. Are they getting any kills? No. I think they're hitting the rock. Yeah, they're literally shooting into the rock. Okay. Alright, that's not helpful, guys. You're not doing a good job. And these guys are out of range, I believe, so they're not able to shoot these guys. Wow! Not very good. Wow. Okay. Alrighty then. Oh yeah, these CIWS over here are dead. Dunzo. Dusted. Well, we get a nice overhead shot over here, watching the grenade launchers firing and the medieval units coming on in. We have currently 25,942 remaining UN soldiers and 5 million remaining Crusader Knights. Alright, well, if you've been paying attention to the number at the top right during the time lapse, you'll know that we're at 24,000 UN soldiers remaining. They are getting pretty beaten up on this end in particular. I think also the melee units over here are just about giving out, and I am seeing arrows flying through the skies here, so yeah, there are archers up this way now. Of course, they're not going to be as skilled as bullets, but they're still getting a kill here or there, so not fantastic. Not fantastico. We do have 4 million remaining Crusaders, so that means we're almost halfway through the battle here for the defenders. 3.5 million being that magic number to get to halfway through the battle. These guys up here starting to take a little bit more of a beating as well, so that's something to look out for, but I think, oh, look at this. The water level's actually rising in the sea, probably from bodies getting tossed into the water and displacing it. So actually a few UN soldiers down here have drowned. That's not good. These guys also still getting shot by some random stray catapult shots and things like that. Why don't we go close up here and watch these guys holding the bridge, which is actually flooding pretty heavily right now. So that's pretty crazy. Let's watch these guys. Alright, we're at the 3 million mark now for remaining Crusader Army troopers, so they're over halfway donezo. But we're also at 20,800 remaining UN soldiers, meaning over, well, actually just under a third of them have died now. Just about a third. So pretty close battle still, I would say. It's not over for the Crusaders. They can still make this comeback. It's just going to be harder. I mean, the UN troops having less and less soldiers does make it so they're going to kill a lot slower, and the enemy is going to have a lot better of a chance to actually get up to them and get some swings off and things like that. Also, the archers and catapults, making a big difference now and getting a lot more kills. So there's that as well, but it's going to be tough for the Crusaders to win even still. So yeah, not the easiest thing in the world. Let's go ahead and let's do a nice time lapse. I kind of want to do one in this crevice over here and just watch these UN soldiers who are like stuck down here spamming fire upwards and watching this body pile grow. But we should probably also, well, if we do the overhead, you can't really see anything, so we'll just watch one end. Let's watch over here. Okay, well, the kills for the UN are slowing down a little bit. It's been another half an hour, and they only got like another 500,000 kills. 2.5 million Crusaders are still remaining on the battlefield, and 19,500 UN soldiers are also still remaining on the battlefield. Lots of damage being done over here, and some deaths happening. Those arrows are starting to take a toll on these guys. Back here, we're still doing very, very solid. The Crusaders are getting pretty close to these guys, I would say, over here, but still not close enough to get many swings off on them or anything like that. These guys are still kind of getting exploded by some catapult shots and arrows and things. But I would say over here is where we're seeing the most differences in the battlefield coming through. So while you watch, over this way. Alright, nearly all the UN soldiers we were watching right there are dead, but further back there is more. Oh, I thought they added destruction. I thought the house was gone and all of that was left was a pile of rubble, but no, they're not adding destruction to this game. It looks like the gate over here is mostly empty. There's barely anyone coming forward, except for to the right, there's still a decent number coming forward. Back this way, more of these UN soldiers, continue to get slapped by catapults and things like that, but for the most part, they're still holding perfectly fine. 2 million, well, 1.9 million remaining medieval Crusader units coming in, and 18,640 UN soldiers. We're just gonna let this ride for a bit, as I don't want to completely run out of storage space. So, we'll be back in just a second. Alright guys, it's been another hour here, and we have 17,900 remaining UN soldiers and 1.6 million remaining Crusader Knights. So during that time, it looks like this finally did die. They actually built a body pile all the way up to the top of the wall, which is kind of insane. So now they're going to be able to fire from above to these guys, and then these guys are kind of side sweeping in as well. So this side of the wall might soon be dying out, potentially. Down below, more of these guys have died from some archer fire, but it is really a trickle in that's coming towards them over here. On the opposite side, these guys are still doing incredibly well. They're very, very strong over there, and down below, they're also pretty darn strong. Why don't we go ahead and time-lapse up here for a little bit and watch these guys coming on in. Alright, we're at 1 million remaining Crusaders and... oh, lag. We're good. Okay, we're good. 17,000 remaining UN soldiers. UN soldiers are holding out real nicely here. They're almost at halfway remaining, but they're not. They're still just holding well at 17k. Look at this. My goodness, the levee never broke. Wow. I'm just gonna let it ride for a bit longer here. Alright, it's been another hour here, and we're at 456,000 remaining Crusaders. Look at the flood zone from all the bodies in the water. That is absolutely crazy. They are truly trickling in. Trickling. There's like barely any coming forward anymore, except for over here. This actually, I think, is where the vast majority of them still are, but they're not even close to reaching the front lines, and deaths for the defenders has dried up completely. They've been at 16,800 for ages now. So, why don't we use our final modern weapon, the nuke. Skadoosh, baby! Lovely. I love capping it off with a good nuke. Incredible. So guys, that's going to be about it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.